Good morning, Greg.
Hello.
It sort of sounds like your mic's working, so that's good.
I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. I'm in a store and I'm singing. Come on. Yeah, I'll phone number for you.
Do what? Oh, thank you. 12:15.
Mm-hmm.
Unique New York.
Do you need me to do that so that we can tell if the mics are working?
You're good. I just missed the sound of your voice.
I know you do. Right?
seconds.
Do we got the? Is the stream up on the site?
Radical.
Oh wait, I sent you the.
Yeah, I put it up. I just want to make sure I
yeah,
got
it's
it up.
streaming, though.
Are we sure?
Yeah.
Is it up? Did I put the right link on?
Well,
Is the
I
link
hope so.
right?
Boy, I hope so.
Is today Monday, December 28th?
Ooh, let's hope so.
It is. Thank God. DCTF live for Monday, December 28th, 2015. Just like 4 days left in the year, which is frightening because we are creeping ever closer to the warm embrace of death. My name is Greg Tepper, managing editor of Dave Campbell's Texas Football and TexasFootball.com. That guy over there is Max Thompson.
Hey, what's
He's
up?
doing all the actual work around here. It is episode 43, the Cameron Lowe episode.
Ugh.
How were your holidays?
I thought we already had episode 43.
This is we didn't have one.
Oh, the snafu.
The lost that was the lost
The
episode.
Lost episode.
So we're
Right.
referring to this as 43.
Okay.
We are here every weekday at noon talking football in the state of Texas, but we did take pretty much all last week off. Now, that was
as most sane people did.
correct, but that was after state championship games when we had
Yes.
binged hard on football. How were your holidays? How was Christmas? How was I suppose the end of Hanukkah rolled into that week?
Honestly, it was just nice to take like a couple naps.
Yeah,
A couple naps was amazing.
I took 2 naps.
Yeah. Like 2 naps.
gotta
That's
tell
a lot
ya.
of naps after a football season.
I think the nap is something that we don't get during football season, but when
Yeah.
it comes back, you're like, why don't I do this all the time?
That was the most work I have done in 5 months ever. So I'm still sort of trying to figure out what to do now.
Mm-hmm. No, I
There's
get
plenty
that.
to do,
Yeah.
but it's weird how there's not an insane amount of things. to
Yeah,
do.
it's odd that we've got like time to like see our wives and stuff,
Yeah.
which is odd.
Carrie is freaking out. She doesn't understand how
It's
to
like,
handle this.
What are you doing here? Why?
It's
This
like,
is-
can we go see a movie again?
No,
can we
don't
see
you,
another movie?
No, don't you get it? This is my
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
I'm talking. This is where I live.
Yeah.
We drove to St. Louis.
Drove.
I
I was surprised you drove.
Well, it's nice to. There's a couple of reasons to do it. One, it's not that bad of a drive. It's 10 hours. It's
10's not that bad. I'm right there
10's
with
right
you.
at the top of not that bad. 11 is bad.
11, yeah.
Yeah, 11 's
Yeah,
what
I
you
used to do the Kansas City to Austin a lot, and that's 11.
Oh, I was gonna say
11 easy, and man, you get through Dallas, and you're like, oh, 3 more hours.
Oh,
Ugh.
dude, that's how I got when we hit the Texas border. Cause like, oh, we're in Texas. Oh, an hour and a half, huh? All right, Google Maps, you got me. The drive home last night was yesterday. Not great, Bob. Not
Weather the
great.
whole way, right?
Not fun at all. Yeah.
Yeah.
We it rained literally from the time we got in the car at 5:30 in the morning until the time we got out of the car at 3:50.
That sounds unpleasant in every way.
10 hours, 20 minutes in a driving rainstorm. Can't recommend it. Can't
thanks.
say I recommend it. But it was fun. But it's nice. It was nice to drive A because it's not that bad, and B, when you're for Christmas when you're bringing a lot of stuff up and you're bringing a lot of stuff back.
Right.
It's nice to have a car, and also you don't have to borrow your in-laws' car, which is nice.
Also good.
We
Also
are we are a football show, believe it or not, and so
Year-round football show.
Yeah, so that's the thing is that just because the season's over, and it's not really, we've got bowl
We
games.
still
coming
got
up.
we still got bowl games.
But
Bowl
just
previews
because
coming
football's
soon.
over doesn't mean that we're over. Oh no, we're just getting started.
Oh, God.
We are bigger and stupider than ever. And today we've got a fun show. In a little bit, 12:15, we're going to be joined by the man himself, the guy who is our pick for Mr. Texas Football 2015. Mansfield Lake Ridge quarterback Jett Duffey will be joining us.
Feeling pretty good about that pick.
You know,
The reaction, not a controversial pick.
no, I feel like even if there was another guy that you liked, you go, okay, he had a pretty good year.
Yeah.
So congratulations to him. We're going to chat with him all about what's going on in his scene these days. I know he's already signed, I think, financial paperwork with Tech, so he's pretty much locked and loaded for the Red
Played
Raiders.
all season with the TT on the front of that Mansfield Lake Ridge.
That would be a pretty stunning flip at this
Yeah.
point, but I also think he's pretty well locked in. But first, we do have to talk about the news that came down about another Mr. Texas Football. In fact, the only guy to win 2 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year awards. Kyler Murray. You may remember him from his days at a little town, at a little school in North Dallas
Tiny school.
called a little teeny tiny,
school.
just a speck on the map.
Just a spec.
Allen, one of the greatest players in Texas high school football history. Last week, when we were on the show, we did talk about how it was announced that he was transferring, which is a big, big deal. But this week, we learned where he's transferring. And that place does not make Max very happy. You do hate the state of Oklahoma.
It's the worst.
You really do.
I
Spend
mean-
some quality time driving through it.
I've done plenty of driving through Oklahoma in my day. Way more in Oklahoma. Lots of things I've had to do in Oklahoma. None of them I'm proud of.
Okay. All right. But Kyler Murray is heading to the Sooners. He is transferring. It was announced by OU, which is it's pretty official there. It was.
Yeah.
He is heading to Oklahoma, and there were a lot of it took a lot of unpacking mentally to kind of wrap my head around it. You normally don't see things go this quickly. You normally don't see a transfer go from on one team to signing with another team in the span of like 10 days.
It was really quick.
It may have even been shorter.
Packaged nicely, like with all of the quotes from Stoops and everything.
Yeah, I mean, it was done. It was done. Very, very odd to see. He is heading north of the Red River. We thought that there were a couple options. We thought Oklahoma was obviously an option. We thought Oregon, which if you remember was their second, was his kind of considered his second choice, or maybe that or Texas.
Fingers crossed for that, so I wouldn't have to deal with Oklahoma.
Texas came out and said that they weren't, or there were sources that were saying they weren't pursuing him, which seems bizarre to me, but it is what it is at this point. And so Oklahoma wins the Kyler Murray sweepstakes. There's a number of things here to unpack. First of all, I was immediately struck by the similarities in skill set between he and Baker Mayfield. Now, obviously, these are two guys who come from very opposite ends of the recruiting spectrum. Baker Mayfield, he was getting recruited by some places. There's some controversy as to whether or not he was offered by certain places or not. But he was not this just white hot top tier ultra recruit.
Right.
Kyler Murray was, but there are similarities in the skill set. I would say that Baker Mayfield's a bit of a superior passer. I would say that Kyler Murray is a bit of a superior runner. But there's a lot of similarities in crossover. And so when you look at the offense that Kyler Murray presumably will take over, it'll be interesting to see how he fits into the Lincoln Riley offense. Obviously, Baker Mayfield having a decent time there, and the offense works for him. Can you have the same thing for Kyler Murray? I thought it was not bizarre, but I thought it was interesting that he chose Oklahoma simply because they seem pretty decent at quarterback right now. And it's not just the obvious that Baker Mayfield's going to be back and going to continue to do his thing. I believe he's only a junior. Is that right? He's got one more year. He's
one more to go.
He's a junior. Trevor Knight's transferring.
Yep.
So he's out, but they've got. You may remember Cody Thomas, who's only a redshirt sophomore. You may remember, and then Oklahoma people from Oklahoma will remember. They've got Heritage Hall quarterback Connor McGinnis, who's a big get for them, a big gem in their recruiting class last year. Oh, and don't forget, they do have Cy Woods quarterback Reese Clark on the campus as well. He's not walking in and guaranteed to be the guy. He is, in fact, going to have to fight tooth and nail for guys who have better measurables. Connor McGinnis and Cody Clark and Reese Clark all listed at 6'4". That is a cool 6 inches taller than Kyler Murray has ever been.
Yeah. No question.
It's a bit of an odd choice in that regard, but for me, the first thing that came out to me when this happened was, wow, he's not taking this opportunity to go to baseball.
No.
That was the thing that shocked me.
Yeah.
Because now I am by no means a baseball recruiting expert. Okay? Let's get that out of the way. But smart people whose opinions I respect have told me and have said aloud that Kyler Murray, if he had gone in the Major League Baseball draft last year,
first round talent,
would have been at worst second round.
Yeah.
And that's a guaranteed payday where you don't have to get hit in the head for a living.
Yeah.
That he's a guy, a middle infielder, I believe, a second baseman, shortstop type, who is an elite baseball talent.
Yeah.
And the thing about Kyler Murray that's always struck me is if you are him and your goal in life is to be a professional athlete, your best shot is probably in baseball.
Right.
Because football, we've seen what Kyler Murray can do on a football field, but we've also seen what he's doing at the college level, and he looks a little bit out of, he looks like he's swimming upstream for the first time in his career.
Yeah.
And the bottom line is, let's count the number of 5'10" quarterbacks in the NFL. You go first. Okay, so are we done there?
Yeah.
There's just not a lot of them, and this is a measurables game in the NFL.
Yeah.
So if his goal was to be a professional athlete,
No
I've
question.
always thought that his best bet was going to be to go play baseball. Now, maybe there's a position change in his future, but even at 5'10", he's small for a wide receiver.
Yeah.
He's small for I mean, you would presumably put him in a slot, but he's not this big, bulky 5'10".
No.
He's a bit of a slight 5'10". And so I thought that this, when he transferred, my immediate thought was, here it comes. He's going to go play baseball. He's going to go to a JUCO for baseball season, and then he'll be in the 2016 MLB draft. That was my thought.
Yeah.
Alas, that is not what's happening, and he's heading to Oklahoma. If he sees the field, if he gets on the field, which, again, with McGinnis and Thomas, and heck, even throw Clark in there, and if they bring in any guys, I haven't looked at Oklahoma's current recruiting class. If they bring in a quarterback, it's by no means a given that he's getting on the field.
No.
But let's say he does.
Okay.
I think that the offense is designed a lot like what he was running at Allen.
Yes.
And I think he'll have an even better running game behind him. Remember, they've got Rodney Anderson. Even Rodney Anderson and Joe Mixon will be there. Samaje Perine, if he doesn't go pro, he's only a sophomore this year. They have tons and tons and tons of running backs.
The one thing to keep in mind there, though, you bring up the offense, is Lincoln Riley really going to be the offensive coordinator 2 years from now?
That's a great point.
He's one of the hottest coaching commodities, and didn't take a job this year, but
no.
We got to think in a year he'll be at the top of a lot of people's lists.
It struck me as an odd choice.
Yeah.
Now, obviously, we're not in the room. We don't know what's going on. We don't know Kyler Murray's heart, but it just seemed like a bit of an odd choice.
Agreed.
But that's just where I sit on it.
Yeah.
Let me tell you about the Subway Super Team. So we have just a couple days of voting left. TexasFootball.com/Subway Super Team. We've teamed up with Subway to put together a high school football all-star team. Get together, and we came up with a ballot, and we included a write-in because we were not great at making sure everybody who's deserving gets on the ballot. Go on, vote for your favorite players. The players with the most votes will be named to the Subway Super Team. It's a great honor to be named among the best players in Texas high school football across all classifications, across all anything. So, TexasFootball.com/Subway Super Team. Be sure to log on there. You can vote once per day, every day until December 31st. Actually, I think it's midnight this January 1st. I think it's my job to turn off the poll, too. on like as the ball drops.
Might want to get on that.
There is no way that's happening.
Set a timer
Yeah,
for your
really.
phone to wake you up.
Yeah, there's no way that's happening. Like, okay, 3, 2, 1. Hold on, honey. I've got to turn off this poll. So, TexasFootball.com/Subway Super Team. Did somebody forget his phone? Jett Duffey is waiting for us to call him. Disappointing. We are DCTF Live. We're here every weekday at noon talking football in the state of Texas. We will be off on Friday because that's New Year's Day, and I'm going to be eating chili and watching football. So we'll be off Friday, but we are here every weekday at noon throughout the year.
You know, no one would know I'm going to get my phone if you didn't say anything.
Well, I didn't get up and go get my phone, now did I? They would have been able to tell. I don't know where the camera is. Maybe they catch you. But I think it's funnier also.
I think the guy running the cameras is the one that has to go get the phone. Probably not going to leave the camera on himself.
No, that would be kind of funny. We just got done talking about one Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year. It was a tough choice this year. Probably the toughest choice we've had since I've been at Dave Campbell's Texas Football. I've been here for 5 years now. Oh, my God, I'm getting old. Probably the toughest choice, but I think we came up with the winner, and I think we came up with the right choice, and it's Jett Duffey, the quarterback at Mansfield Lake Ridge. What he did this year was truly special, and I was really struck by his feel for the moment, that whenever they needed the big play, he was the guy they could turn to. So I was very excited when he agreed on Twitter. We'll see if he answers his phone. He agreed on Twitter to talk with us. Max is having trouble. Come on, Jett. Do you like when I just pull back the curtain on the show and just bring it to a screeching halt? Is that fun for you? There we go. So we're very excited to talk to him. It's the highest honor in Texas high school football is to be named Mr. Texas Football, and the list of guys who have been Mr. Texas Football is a who's who. It's a who's who of great Texas high school football players, and Jett Duffey has kind of put his name alongside that. We mentioned Kyler Murray, a 2-time winner of the award, and it was really special, and it struck me kind of early going into the playoffs that, wow, this kid's really got something going on, and he's heading to Texas Tech, and we are so pleased to be joined now on the phone by the quarterback of the Mansfield Lake Ridge Eagles and the 2015 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year, Jett Duffey. Hey, Jett, how things going?
Things are going great.
How was Christmas?
It was great. You know, I got to spend time with my family, so it was amazing.
Okay, good. Well, now you also got one Christmas gift early. You got named Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year between Johnny Manziel and Kyler Murray and Stump Godfrey. There are some tremendous names on this list. What does it mean to you to be able to put your name alongside those greats of Texas high school football?
Oh, you know, it means a lot just to be able to be named Mr. Texas out of all the Texas high school football players there are. It just, you know, it shows that, you know, my team and I have done a lot of things this year, and that, you know, we're getting recognized for it. You know, my name may be on Mr. Texas, but, you know, it's a team thing, and without them, I wouldn't have been named Mr. Texas.
You had a fantastic season, obviously, heading into taking Mansfield Lake Ridge to their first state title game. Is there one moment or one play or even just one game this year that stands out to you and that you feel like you're always going to remember from this season?
Oh, I'm always going to remember the Longview game. You know, it was one of those things where we came together as a family. You know, the defense needed us to step up because, you know, sometimes defense has a bad game and sometimes offense has a bad game, and the defense needed us to step up, so the offense stepped up. And then at the end of the game, whenever we needed the defense, they stepped right up and did what we needed them to do, and we won a very, very, very close one that, you know, could have went the other way. And, you know, it's just one of those games that, you know, you'll always remember.
We're talking with Jett Duffey, the 2015 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year here on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation, hashtag DCTF Live. And Jett, you play in a very unique offense at Mansfield Lake Ridge. This is not an offense that you see a whole lot. For you, as the trigger man for that offense, how fun is it to be at the helm of one of the most unique attacks in Texas?
Oh, it's very fun because we run a high tempo offense and it's high octane, and we're constantly moving, constantly getting new play, and just just going at that tempo. It's hard for other defenses. People try to replicate it in their practices before playing this, but it's funny whenever you see cornerback or deep lineman or something throw up before the play because we're going so fast, and just to make big plays because we'll attack you short, nickel and dime you here, and then bam, a big play, and it's just an exciting offense.
We would be remiss, though, if we didn't mention the state title game, and obviously did not go the way that you guys hoped. You looked pretty banged up from up in the press box. I guess can you tell us now that it's all said and done? Can you tell us what had happened and what was I guess how injured you were going into that game?
Before the game, the previous game against Toledo, I was running down the middle, and as I was pushing up, they were coming down on top of me, and I pulled my hamstring. And we tried to do rehab all week, and it got way better. And then before the game, it felt great. It felt like I was going to be able to have some mobility and just to be able to move around. And then, like the third play of the game, I had to roll out, and I made a move that I normally make, just to step back and roll out. And I just felt it at that moment. I just knew I wasn't going to be able to move. And coming into the game, it felt as if, I wasn't as injured as I was previously, but, I couldn't move at game time speed.
It was pretty clear for us up at the press box that things weren't 100% for you. You have to come out in the second half and watch that.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, a lot of credit to George Ranch. They really played very well, but how difficult was it for you being on the sideline for that?
It was extremely difficult. I was down going into halftime. I had to stand outside the hall for a second because I just knew, it just felt as if I was letting my team down. We got this far, and then I couldn't be able to, produce for them. But, I had to go in there and talk to Jason Bean, my backup, and, just get him ready for the second half. But it was pretty hard, just to see, because we had 40-something seniors, and, this is the dream we've had since freshman year, and for us to not be able to complete it, or at least, have a fighting chance for it, it's a heartbreaker, but everything happens for a reason, and, a lot of us learned a lot from that game, so, it was something we just had to keep our heads up and, just take in every moment.
We're talking with Jett Duffey, the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year for 2015, joining us on DCTF Live. Get involved with the conversation at #DCTF Live. And now, the next step in your career, things obviously get a lot more boring for you, leaving Texas high school football and moving on to Texas Tech. You are headed to Lubbock. I guess the big question, why Texas Tech?
Because, I just got overall feeling of, welcoming just from the entire Texas Tech community, from, just the fans to the coaches. And, as I went on my visit, I just felt extremely welcomed. And then talking to Coach Kingsbury and Coach Morris, just learning more about the program and, hearing more from them. And then, it just also, on the academic part of it, they have a physical therapy program attached to the school, so which is a bonus because not all universities have that. And also, just being close to home, and then they throw the ball 60 sometimes a game, so that's also a plus. And, it's just overall, it was just a good feeling I got from Texas Tech.
And, of course, you will go and play for Cliff Kingsbury, the coach, a guy who was a pretty good quarterback himself in high school and in college, and then going into the NFL. For you, how much of the decision came down to playing for Coach Kingsbury?
Just a part of it because, it's crazy. The recruiting process is crazy, and also college football is crazy. You never know who your coach is going to be. So, that was a small part of it, but, it was also just a bonus just to be able to have, a great coach like Coach Kingsbury. And I know that I'll be able to learn some things from him.
Absolutely. It's Jett Duffey, the Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year for 2015. And now, Jett, with your permission, we're going to play a little game called This or That. Going to give you two options. Let people get to know this Player of the Year. All right, give you two options. You got to pick. Don't want you to think too hard on these. These are pretty easy. We want to make sure you got it right. So we'll start easy. Dog or cat?
Dog.
Okay, dog. Good choice. I think that's a right choice. I'm all right. I'm already liking this guy. Okay. Snapchat or Instagram?
Snapchat.
Okay. All right. He's going to snap at you. That's cool. All right. This is important. Cake or pie?
Pie.
Ah, it's my boy. Yes. All right, good. You're 3 for 3 so far. Facebook or Twitter?
Twitter.
Twitter. All right. iPhone or Android?
iPhone.
All right, good. Go out for a movie or Netflix and chill?
Netflix and chill.
Okay. And finally, this is maybe the toughest one. Well, actually, I got 2 more for you. LeBron or Steph Curry?
Steph Curry.
All right. I like it. I like it. And finally, Drake or Meek Mill?
Drake.
All right.
Come on.
He is Jett Duffey. He is the 2015 Mr. Texas Football Player of the Year. You've seen him dazzle at Mansfield Lake Ridge. You will soon see him dazzle on the South Plains at Texas Tech in Lubbock. Jett, congratulations. Thanks for hopping on. Enjoy the offseason and best of luck the rest of your way in your career.
Okay, thank you.
There he goes, Jett Duffey, quarterback for Mansfield Lake Ridge. I was really worried about the cake or pie one. I got to tell you.
He came through. Those were
He
good
did.
answers.
Those were good. I think I
He was
agree.
on point.
I think I agree with every single one of them.
He was on point.
I think he nailed it. That was pretty good.
pretty good.
You know what? I only feel better about our decision now.
Yeah. That just validates
Well,
it.
and
in
I'll
every
tell you
way.
what stuck out to me about that, about
Mhm.
his when kind of, I wanted to ask him about tech and all that stuff.
Yeah.
When he mentioned the physical therapy thing, he's
Yeah.
like, "That's what I want to do.
Yeah.
That's what I want to major in."
Yeah.
This kid with his head screwed on straight.
Yeah.
There's a lot of kids out there who'll just choose it because they got flashy uniforms or great facilities or this one coach. But it seems like this was a full decision that he made with everything, taking everything into consideration. That's a kid who's wise beyond his years.
Disappointed he didn't mention Coach Bro's Wayfarers as a top
It's tough.
top reason.
It's tough, yeah. But
Yeah.
that's interesting. That's interesting that he understands the game and he goes, "Look, I'm committing to a school. I'm not committing to a coach."
Yep.
And obviously, learning under Cliff Kingsbury is going to be nice for him.
Yeah.
But I think that's a kid who didn't make the decision based on who's at the head of the but he had the head of the program, but rather a guy who made a decision based on everything involved. And I'll tell you, if he's anything like he was at Lake Ridge, if he's anything at Tech like he was at Lake Ridge,
They'll have a lot of
the
fun.
Red Raiders are going.
They're gonna have a lot of fun.
If you haven't seen this
Yeah.
kid play, he
Yeah.
is dazzling.
Yeah.
He is really, really fun to watch. It was disappointing to hear about that. Disappointing that he couldn't pull it. Wasn't 100% going into the title game. George Ranch would have had something to say about it regardless, but
It was still disappointing.
It
The
was
fact that we didn't get to see a healthy Duffey or Duke Carter. They're kind of the 1-2 punch that made that offense go for Lake Ridge. Would have liked to have seen full strength Lake Ridge versus full strength George Ranch.
yeah, it would have been fun. But regardless, thanks to Jett Duffey for hopping on with us.
It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun. Good kid. Best of luck to him the rest of the way. And yeah, he's heading to Lubbock, heading to the South
Yeah.
Plains. Well, that is going to just about do it for us here on DCTF Live. Thank you for joining in. We are here every weekday at noon. We'll be here tomorrow as well because that's a weekday and it has a noon. Follow us on Twitter at DCTF. Like us on Facebook, facebook.com/Dave Campbell's. Follow us on Instagram, instagram.com/Dave Campbell's. And, of course, see us at texasfootball.com. Apparently, we need to get a Snapchat. If Jett Duffey's on Snapchat,
Yeah.
then we got to get on that
That's
Snapchat.
more than enough reason.
Exactly. Vince Young, you just heard one Player of the Year. Vince Young, please come get your Player of the Year trophy. And we will see you tomorrow on DCTF Live.